Hello and good evening to welcome to Rangers Radio. This is Bridgeman, and I'm here instead of Oxchair, who's doing on his holidays, enjoying himself, I hope. And with me tonight, helping out, is Southside Bear and Old Bear. Good evening to the pair of you. How are you?
I'm good, Old Bear. I'm Old Bear. I'm good, mate. How you doing? How you doing, Southside?
Hi, good Bridgeman. Good Old Bear. How you doing? How you both doing?
And let's see how this goes. And Foxy, of course, in the old school blue are looking after the techie as usual. There's a couple of wee things I would like to talk about or bring in anyway. And the first one is that our captain James Tavernier has released a statement through the club to all season ticket holders. Can I read this out? It's only take a couple of minutes. Do you mind if I read it out?
Go for it.
Right. So it's saying here, letter from club captain James Tavernier. Dear season ticket holder, the last 16 months have been difficult right across the world. Every single person has been impacted, with some losing their very lives from COVID. We cannot forget that we must use this opportunity to create as much positivity and unity within our famous ground. We brought home 55 last season in almost record time. However, there are some dark and difficult moments along the way. Sadly, at some stage during the season, every one of our BAME players received racial abuse online. That's so sad. It's a sad indictment on society and shows just how much work still needs to be done to eradicate it. Add in the fact that one of our players received sickening racial abuse on the pitch. Racism is a problem in football. That is an inarguable fact, right? As a team and as a club, we must not only stand up against racism, but fight against it every single day. Whenever our players were abused last season, the way in which our fan base stood behind us was nothing short of amazing. Many people have given arguments for and against certain political organisations, arguments against their actions and what they purport to stand for. I have no interest in all of that. Neither do my teammates or coaching staff. We will take the knee to stand against racism, nothing more and nothing less. That is why we will be taking the knee prior to our games. This is a very simple, but we hope effective gesture. It is symbolic. It's a symbolic stance against racism, nothing more and nothing less. At the start of each game this season and throughout the 90 minutes, please show the world exactly why you are a special fan base. Support every player who is proud to wear the badge of the famous RFC. We are as strong can be. I cannot wait to hear your roar from the stands of Ibrox Park. James Tavernier, Rangers captain. I think that's quite good. What do you guys think?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the captain says don't boo it. We don't boo it. We stand together. We stand and fall together, and that's the end to it. I mean, that's a line drawn out for me. The captain says respect the players taking the knee. That's exactly what I'll be doing. And I think the whole Rangers support, or majority, will do this exact same. I don't know what you are thinking, but that's what I'm thinking.
Southside?
Yeah, it's a clear message from the club captains, obviously from the club as well. So it's something that they're making the supporters aware that they're going to take the knee this season before every game. So I'm sure the supporters will back it.
Well, I think so, yeah. I think that there's been a bit of confusion, and I heard some boos in the earlier games, but I expect that to dissipate. The captains say that's what we're going to try and do, and I'm sure that all the players will go shoulder to shoulder with the manager and all the coaching staff. So hopefully they'll all be welcomed by the fans the same. So let's go on and do it. For me, let's go on and do it and support the players. That's what I say. So I think that's good. Sorry, pal.
Here, mate. Here. I'm just supporting you, mate. Here.
Well, I was fortunate to get a ticket for the game for tomorrow, and so I thought to myself, I was talking to Oxchair about it, and I says, he said to me, you need to get the lift up. And I says, well, is that not the only way up to the club deck, you know? And he laughed. And I says, well, I said to myself, I better send him a wee mail. So I sent him a mail, and I got an answer back today, and it said, oh yes, we've arranged everything. Go to the ticket office, right, and speak to this guy. I can't say his name over there, and he's got a pass ready for you for the lift. So I have to get a pass for the lift. Now, where's the ticket office he's talking about? Is it the normal ticket office, or is there any other ticket offices? Does anybody know? Give us a call if you know.
I think there only is one ticket office.
I believe so. Yes, I believe
There is. I think there's a bit just at the front of the main stand, just near the main doors. There's a wee bit there. I think you can go and sometimes pick up tickets. I've seen people do that.
Oh, well, I could maybe go there first then. Other than that, I end up at the big porter cabins, don't I?
I wish you'd got me a pass last Sunday, Bridge, because I was up in the club deck and I had to hoof it up the stairs.
You know, even just going up to the main stand, you're up all these stairs. There must be a million stairs there.
Oh,
my God. Anyway, I'm hoping that I manage to get over there in time to get a pass so I can go in and see the game with I can watch it and enjoy myself. I'm up at the CD7, if you know where that is. It's probably the last seat in the whole stand, you know. So we'll see how we go.
Right out in the wing. CD7 right out in the wing, mate.
That's it, yeah. Very last. Mm-hmm. The problem, that's an idiot, that guy. Just give him these seats. It's rubbish. So we're very happy other than that. Now, can I just ask you, would you like to hear from our manager? I think he's got a good came out with a wee statement today, Mr.
Always, mate, always.
Always good to hear Stevie G.
So would that be okay there?
Yep, mate, definitely.
Right. Go for it. Is that okay with you, Foxy?
Stephen, I saw on RTV when you were talking a couple of weeks ago about the different challenges that players face now that they are champions. What kind of thing do they need to adopt in their mentality going through the season now that they have this added pressure being the champions?
Well, I think first and foremost we have to embrace that pressure of being last season's champions. I think it's important that players remain humble and grounded and keep that hunger and try and keep the level of consistency we've played at over the last 12 months, which has been real high level. The evidence on what I've seen in training and certainly over the weekend is the players look ready to go again. We've got a near enough fully fit squad besides Ryan Jack and Alfredo Morelos. So in the coming weeks we should have everyone fit and available. So we're in a good place to go and attack this season, and it's a really exciting time.
Stephen, in some ways, looking ahead to this season, is it harder to defend this title going in due to the sort of pressure and expectation, or is it just that pure enthusiasm carrying you into the early parts of this?
We are very much enthusiastic. No one's talking about pressure. In this environment, everyone's talking about the excitement of going into the new season. Really looking forward to that. The challenges ahead. In the next couple of weeks, we've got a couple of league games, an important cup game domestically, which we want to really get out the blocks quick and start the season domestically very well. And obviously, sandwiched in amongst them important games is two massive Champions League qualifiers. So, what a time, what a moment to be involved with this club. It's very exciting. So we very much see the pressure as an opportunity, and we want to really embrace it and look forward to it with excitement rather than fear.
Stephen, are you happy with the balance of your squad now, and have you been making signings thinking further ahead in case you do get into the Champions League or European football, or in case you lose any, or what's the thinking at this stage with the window still open?
I think things have slightly changed, with the rule change of only being allowed 6 outfield subs now, and obviously 1 goalie. That's obviously too shy from last year in terms of the domestic. It's slightly different from a European point of view because you can name 12 subs. So it's something with this discussion at the moment. I'm really happy with the squad at the moment, what we've got in the door. Obviously, there's people to come back into the squad. Ryan Jack has trained with the group now for 2-3 days, and he's had no issues. He's got one more appointment in about 10 days' time for the full green light to go into aerial challenges and full throttle football. So that's going to be like a new signing to us, hopefully in 10 days as well. Alfredo, obviously, once he's followed the government guidelines and the COVID situation, he'll join the group sometime next week. So the squad's really strong as it stands. If there's not a need to add to it, I won't do it. But it's something that we'll consider in the coming weeks, and we'll see how we start the season. We'll see how the qualifiers go. It might be something that we come to at the back end of the window.
Morning, Stephen.
Good morning, Mark.
When Graham Souness took over at Ibrox, it was described as a Souness revolution, whereas your tenure, it's been more of an evolution. Having won the league, have you set new goals for this season?
I think it's very much a case of the club setting new goals. You know, at the end of every year, I mean, we have quarterly catch-ups with the board from a management team point of view. And, you know, once we were champions middle of March, it was very much a case of sitting down with the board and resetting, fresh remit, fresh challenges. They'll obviously remain private, but I don't think you'd have to be a rocket science at Rangers to work out what they are. It's basically a case of going for everything that's available, and that's the way we like it. That's the way we want it. And that's why we've been trying to prepare the strongest squad possible to attack everything on all fronts.
Morning, Stephen.
Good morning.
Stephen, there was a report claimed that Connor Goldson had agreed a new deal. Is that almost done? Can you enlighten us?
I'm not sure that report's true. I'm not aware of the report. Myself and Connor, as I said a couple of weeks ago, got a really strong relationship. Connor's in a good place. He's really happy and settled here. There's nothing to report on Connor's contract situation at the moment, but there's certainly no panic or worry as far as I'm concerned. What will be, and when the time's right, I'm sure Connor will be ready to sign it.
Stephen, Livingston tomorrow are always a tough test. David Martindale, obviously, they had a tremendous season under him last season. What's the challenge you expect tomorrow?
Davey, he'll have them fired up. He'll have them well organised, well drilled. I remember a text message conversation I had towards the back end of the season when he was desperate to be the first team to beat us and take that invincible record away from us. So I know he'll be fired up, he'll be ready, and he'll certainly have his players ready as well. But I've got a lot of admiration and respect for Davey. Livingston, since I've come into this job, have always been a tough challenge, home or away. And they're a team that never lie down. And, you know, we've got to respect the challenge that's coming our way tomorrow.
And I was wanting to ask you about Charlie McCann. There's reports in the press this morning that he's undergone a medical. Can you give us any update on that?
Yes, I can give you an update, but I'm not sure it'll be the update that you're looking for. We're certainly aware of Charlie McCann. He's a really good talent, a strong talent. You know, it is close, but there's nothing to report on that really. That will be a B team signing, just for everyone's information. And then obviously as a management team, if that happens, we'll follow him really closely. We'll analyse where he's at, and once he's ready for an opportunity, it'll certainly present itself.
Stephen, in terms of team news, is the likes of a reborn Roof ready to come back?
We've got a fully fit squad training today. The only absentee is Alfredo Morelos. Obviously, Ryan Jack can't be selected. We've got 2 or 3 players that we're going to make late decisions on whether they're ready for the squad just now, or we have to be patient for a few more days. They've had slightly different programmes to the rest of the group because they arrived late, but I'll make a decision after training on them. The likes of Hollander and Barisic and Kamara, we'll make decisions on them. But in terms of who's fit and available to train today, we're 99% fit and available and ready to go.
You've obviously shown great trust in Jermaine Defoe as a player, and now that you've given him the coaching role, was that something that you had thought about, or was it something you found that Jermaine was naturally slipping into in the training pitch?
I mentioned this to Jermaine the very first time I sat down with him in London before he came to us in the first place. Obviously, he was around, I think it was 36, 37 at the time at Bournemouth, and trying to sell the project and the opportunity to Jermaine to come up to Glasgow to finish his playing days, but also give him the platform and support him in that transitional moment to become a coach. Obviously, we very much respect that he had to make the decision. We didn't want to force him down a certain road to suit ourselves. But this is a guy who's been an ultimate professional. He's had a top career. We believe he's still got stuff to offer us in terms of being a player, but he loves the game. And I think at the moment in his head he's deciding, do I want to be a coach? Do I want to be involved in the TV? But he loves the club, he loves the supporters, and he wants the opportunity to play in front of a full house again at Ibrox, defend the title first and foremost. And obviously if he's not named in a squad or around the group, he's very much going to be a big support to me and my coaching staff moving forward, because he's got so much to offer. So it's an exciting one for everyone concerned, and we're all going to have to adapt and support Jermaine in this transitional moment. But I mean, what a club and a place for that transition to take place. He's excited about it. I certainly am. And we'll all see how it pans out. But first and foremost, he trains and prepares as a player as well, because we still believe there's goals in Jermaine Defoe.
Even you got your business done early, which no doubt will please you, and John and Fashion coming in. I just wondered, have you done that with a view to preparing yourself for any inevitable offers for your players? I mean, there's a bit of speculation surrounding Glenn and his future.
No, not at all. The plan to add Fashion and John and Namdi was very much a case of trying to make the 11 and the squad better, first and foremost. That's always the priority. We're very much aware of how this club works in terms of if certain bids land, obviously you have to recycle. That's the way it is. I don't think that'll change. But we don't make signings, or we don't prepare the group for people going out. I certainly don't. I prepare it to be as strong as possible to give us the best chance of success on the pitch. But I'm not shying away from the fact that if the right bid landed for any of our players, I'm sure I'm going to get a call from the board. But I'll cross that bridge when it happens, because at the moment we haven't had one single bid for any of our players besides George Edmondson, and we accepted that bid. There's a couple of things brewing in the background, but for none of the big players that have been mentioned in terms of speculation over the last few days.
When you expect Alfredo to be available for you?
Well, we're going to have to analyse his condition when he comes out of the hotel. I think he's still got another 5-6 days remaining in the hotel. We've managed to get some fitness stuff to Alfredo in terms of a bike, in terms of some weights and equipment for him to train alone in his room. So we'll analyse where he's at in terms of his fitness. We'll do the fitness tests and all the hard stuff on Alfredo when he arrives on day one, and then we'll make a decision from then. But he is fit and available in terms of being ready to start training once he comes out.
Well, that was brilliant. Thoroughly enjoyed listening to the manager there. Superb. Any comments on that then, Southside?
It was a good insight to a couple of things, Bridgie, the way he was explaining things with building the squad up, and also with Jermaine Defoe, his role as the coaching with the strikers. We'd heard them speak before, saying that none of the other coaches had that role. They've all got other roles, but so he's going to help the strikers. Also, it was surprising that obviously reports in the newspapers they said Goldstone was close to signing, and obviously the manager's revealing that's not the case at the moment. So it's something we'll need to look towards. Hopefully he'll be signing a new contract shortly. It's probably just minor details or whatever it is that's holding that up, but I'm sure it'll probably get done. Apart from that, mate, it sounds all positive, Bridge.
The news about the young lad from Man United was interesting as well, because it sounded as if the manager never knew anything to the sense of signing, and yet the people at the press there, they, as far as they were concerned, there was the deal was done, because the reports were in the papers type of thing, a wee bit nonsense. What about you, Albert? What did you think?
It was a good interview. It was more tight than meets the eye, but I mean, he was shutting the papers down. The comments about the Connor Goldson, that was shutting the paper down. That's what he's trying to do. And the one about the young boy, that was him shutting them down again, because they're speculating that. They've got all other papers, and what they're trying to get him to do is confirm what they're writing. So he's not going to do that. The days are gone. No, I mean, they need to pay their money now. They're going to write crap. They can write it all they want, but it's going to cost them money to write it now. So, from that point of view, I was quite happy with the interview. I was happy with his positive attitude towards the team as well, because after the Tranmere game, I gave a criticism to the team, and so did he. And now he's upbeat now for the season, now getting into the season. So that sounded good through that interview. I was happy about that. Happy about the injury front as well. But that wee boy McCann, it seems to be like hullabaloo about signing this boy. It must be some player, the way they're all going on about it, because he's for the B team. It's not that he's walking straight into the first team. I don't know. I don't know what all the hullabaloo is. He must be some player, I'll tell you. I don't know if he's knowing about him, Dave.
I certainly don't know anything about the boy other than he's a Republic of Ireland international, and he's been with Man United for a few years, I believe. Or he's been in the English area for a few years. So I don't know whether he actually is Irish or just Irish parentage. I really don't know. That's the first I've heard of him. Was the day when I read it. What can you say?
I think the undertone with them, I think them asking the question, the undertone about the boys because he's for Southern Ireland. I think that's what they're all going on about. It makes no difference to us. We don't care where people come from. We're just interested in the football ability, you know what I mean? So I hope he's some player, the boy, I really do, because I think we paid some money for him as well. I don't know if you know that. South, did we pay money for him?
I think we pay a wee bit of money because it's a cross-border thing. I think originally he was capped England under 16s or 15s or something.
Yeah,
and then I believe he played for the Republic of Ireland at under 19 level. He was at Coventry City, I believe, before he went to Manchester United. But I don't know much else about the boy. There's only wee bits and bobs I've read. But it looks like we'll be signing him anyway. So it looks like the deal will get done shortly if it's not already done.
Well, I'm hoping it is because it's good to see youth coming in, eh?
Of course, right. It's good to hear that Jack's ready to come back in as well. I mean, he's got one. I think he said he's got one more appointment, isn't he? He's specialist, and to give him the blue light, and that'll be him going up and ready to run. So that's good, and that's really good news. As for the team, I mean, I never get a chance to say about the Real Madrid game or the Brighton game. It was fantastic. The two games were good, but the Real Madrid game was fantastic. It really was. We played brilliant. That's the attitude I was going on about after the Tranmere game. Doesn't matter whether you're playing, whether you're playing for Rangers, no matter what part of the season, pre-season, doesn't matter with me. Your attitude's got to be right. You've got to show it, and they definitely did in the Real Madrid. They were absolutely outstanding. I don't like friendlies in general, but I thoroughly enjoyed that one, I must admit, I really did.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. No, I thoroughly enjoyed the interview. I thought it was really good. Some of the stuff in it we'll probably talk about for the next couple of days too. Simply because it came from our manager. But on that point, I think it's worthwhile I think we'd like to open the lines and get people in, get some callers in rather than listen to us old fogies, you know, if you get what I mean.
Well, we've got to give them all,
so
haven't we?
Let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, I believe we'll get Rudy in. Is that correct, Foxy?
All right, Bridgeman, how are you doing?
Hi, Rudy. How are you doing, pal?
Hi, I'm good. Thanks very much. Hi, Old Bear. Hi, Southside. How are you doing, guys?
Aye, good, pal. Yourself. Good to hear you.
Aye, thanks.
Glad to hear that you phoned in, mate. We're glad to hear you phoned down.
You bother, Old Bear. I just saying to Fox in the chat there before I came on, I'm sitting here with a nice malt, so you might have to wind me down a wee bit occasionally, you know what I mean?
I love it. So you never told us what you had for your dinner tonight, come on.
Oh, it was a nice roast chicken dinner tonight, Bridgeman. It was magic. And then I had a wee bit of, well, I say a wee bit, it was quite a big bit of sticky toffee pudding and vanilla ice cream after it, so it was magic. I'm fairly stuffed, Bridgeman, it has to be said.
How did you get about, Rudy? Is it an Arctic moves you about?
Is that an Arctic? I love it.
Believe it or not, Old Bear, I'm actually on a diet, so I've got the weight down a fair bit. It has to be said, but you know, Mrs. Rudy's got a big paddle open the fridge nowadays. And so.
Old Bear, he's downgraded now to a fork truck to get moved a bit.
I've lost weight. I'm on a forklift now.
Forklift, aye.
Sorry, mate. What were you going to say?
I was just going to mention Stevie Gerrard's interview there. He's coming across as really confident just now, you know. I kind of thought today, I watched it about half an hour ago, I think it was, and I thought I thought he was a wee bit evasive about Roof and Aribo, or maybe he's just not wanting to give too much away. Maybe that's what it is, Albert, you know. He seemed to, when he was asked about Roof and Aribo, he kind of batted it away a wee bit, but he did say, you know, there's a couple of players that will make a decision on nearer the time. So maybe that's who he was talking about, you know. But he's coming across as really confident, you know. I think it's brilliant how he deals with the media, you know. When it's needed, he just shows them the contempt that they deserve, in my opinion. And I think his years of experience down south dealing with the media sets him in good stead for up here when he has to deal with these idiots up here, you know, in the media and stuff, you know. But I thought it was a really good interview. But then I don't ever remember seeing an interview with him that I didn't like, you know.
Do you think he has got that? Sorry.
Go for it, mate. Go for it.
I was going to say, do you think, Rudy, that he has got this contempt type thing for the press up here, or is it just the press in general?
I don't doubt Oxbridge. I don't doubt Bridge when he first came up to Scotland. You know, 3 years ago when he first became the manager of Rangers, I don't doubt somebody sat him down and says to him, "Look, you're going to have to deal with these idiots maybe a couple of times a week." You know, so this is what they're like, and he's probably been told right from the very beginning. You know, but he's dealt with, in all honesty, in his career, Bridge, he's dealt with bigger and better journalists down south than he's ever going to have to deal with up here. You know, the press up here is nothing compared to the press down south. He's been a part of there. He's been England captain, and he's had to deal, you know, he's been playing for his country. He's had to deal with the press in England, you know. They can be vicious down there, really vicious, you know, when England's done badly and stuff. So he's had to deal with all that. I think it's a breeze for him up here, Ox. I think he does treat them with contempt, you know. I mean, thinking back to one of the stupid questions about going into the thing made Den, a Lion's Den, and he just kind of, you know, he sniggered and said to the journalist, "What are you talking about? Like, there's no lions, is there? So how can it be a Lion's Den and stuff?" And he does. He treats them with contempt occasionally when they deserve it. And let's face it, they deserve it quite a lot, Bridge, don't they?
Well, I think following on from his historically speaking, Liverpool have a running battle with particularly the Sun newspaper. And I don't think it's a very popular newspaper down there. I don't know if Liverpool let them in to any of their press conferences they're in. But I know they had a big to do because of the way they treated the boys that got killed, you know. Yeah. So I think it was a bit of nonsense going on there. Do you remember that, Rudy? Albert, do you remember that, Albert?
I think he's all right. I think he takes it on a day-to-day basis with him as well. I think he thinks to himself, look, he's got that much experience of down south in world football, international football, and he comes up here. He gives them a fighting chance, and he doesn't suffer fools gladly. You know what I mean? He just doesn't. He'll give them a chance. If you start asking crap or trying to ask the leading questions or looking for headlines, he just shuts it down. He just shuts it down immediately, and that's what I like about him. He's triple wide when it comes to that. And he's probably got a bit of insight of how they treated Caccino when he was here. I mean, they just ripped that guy. He was a dumpling. I'm not saying he was a good, but his naivety, they just ripped him apart. They took no prisoners with that guy. So they've thought Stevie G, under 18 coach, never coached never managed a big team, never done it with the professionals. He's done it with the boys and all that carry on. So we'll just have a wee field day with him. Well, that soon get knocked out of him right away with his first interviews. And as Rudy says, I've not really heard him having a bad interview. He just knows the game.
I think it's right what you say, Albert. He's triple white. That's a good expression to use for him. You know, he's dealt with, as I say, bigger and better journalists down south. He's been through a lot in his time as a professional player. You know, he's been a young player at Liverpool. He's come up, been captain, England captain, and he's dealt with the press on an ongoing basis. So if the press up here thought for a minute they were going to get a headline off him, you know, every time they sort of go and sit down with him and, you know, when he does a presser, I think they're sadly mistaken because he's not that daft. He's not that daft.
I'd like to hear Southside's comments on that, and then we've got a caller coming in. So what you got to say on that one, Southside?
Similar to yourselves, Bridge. I think it's just the way he controls the press. You know, I think he's made it clear as well today that there's been no bids for any of our players, apart obviously Edmondson's away. But apart from that, there's been no bids for any of our players regarding speculation. So he controls the press. I think the way he deals with them, he's always forthright. he's honest, he's refreshing when you listen to him. So he's learned it, obviously, by being a player and doing interviews, but he's matured, and obviously talking to probably Walter and Graham Souness and other people, he's learned how to deal with it, and he's certainly got a lot better, and he's just great to listen to. You certainly perk up, and I stuck him on this morning to listen, and you listen to every word. It's just brilliant the way he speaks about the club, the support, and the players, and he backs them all 100%.
So it makes a change, Southside, if you listen to Pedro Caixinha,
Graham Murty's and other ones, Rudy. But he's refreshing. Even Walter sometimes was guarded in what he said. Only sometimes Walter would come out with certain things, but Stevie G's quite refreshing. He sort of says it how it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We've got a nice caller waiting. There's a guy, Jack. Are you there, Jack?
Hello, how you doing, boys?
All right, yourself?
Aye, fine, mate. Just looking forward to the game tomorrow.
Oh, well done, pal. Floor's all yours. That is with the questions. Come on.
The question I've got is around Alfredo Morelos. What do you think? Obviously, he's coming in late. He's going to miss tomorrow. He's going to miss the first Champions League. Do you think there's something going on there? Obviously, they're saying there's no bids, but is he playing up a wee bit? Is he walking away? I'm just not sure.
We'll start off with Rudy Bear on that, and we'll go to the other boys.
I don't think he is, Jack. I think he was away with his country, wasn't he? So he was away.
Obviously, he was in Cope and that, but you'd expect him to be back for a big game like that. It finished a while ago, Ken.
Yeah, I'm not so sure whether he should have been back before now. I mean, I saw the Steven Gerrard interview on Sky Sports when kind of hinted at that, didn't he? So you might have a point.
Well, when he said he was getting a bit tiresome, I thought he was maybe talking about Mer Alfredo. He's getting a bit tiresome, Ken. He's maybe getting a wee bit sick of him. But I think he's a really important player for me, Ken.
I think the way he sort of phrased it, I think it was probably Mary's agent. I think that's the impression I got from it. He was talking about his agent, but then Alfredo's part of that, isn't he, as well, I suppose. But he's had to come back into the country. He's got to isolate because he's been abroad and everything. It's just unfortunate that he's going to miss these two games. But I'll tell you something though, Jack. After watching Sakala against Real Madrid, if Alfredo's not careful, I know a lot of people think Alfredo's first choice for that position, and under normal circumstances it would be. But after what I saw in Sakala against Real Madrid, if Alfredo's not careful, there's somebody there I think that's ready to step right into his shoes. I don't know what you think about that.
No, that's 100% true. I watched the game as well. The boy's very direct, fast. Even his goal, Ken, to be honest, Ken, I thought he was going to place it 1-on-1, but he just obviously put his foot right through it. That boy can finish, and the directness, speed, but because he's new and all that, it might take a while. But obviously, Alfredo, I just think maybe something is there, but never know.
Yeah.
Can I get Albert to answer your original points on your original point on Morelos?
I don't, Jack. I don't think we Alfie had any special treatment. You've got to remember, they went deep into that tournament he played in, and he was due his effort anyway. So I don't think he's had any special treatment whatsoever. Plus, I don't think Gerrard was talking when he was getting tiresome. He was getting tiresome. The journalist asked him the question about Alfie. That's what he was talking about, wasn't he? He's no tired of Alfie. So the wee man's no done anything wrong, and he's had to get into isolation, a stupid 10-day isolation in a hotel after you're out in certain countries and come back in. So I think everything was above board, mate. To be honest with you, I don't think there's anything to worry about on that front. The fact that the timing, sorry, mate.
On you go, sorry.
I think it's just the timing. The tournament he was in when he was due his holidays. So I think it's just a bit unfortunate the way that happened, because I'll be honest, we see all our players are on international duty. I was hoping they all get knocked out early because I didn't want any injuries. I wanted them all rested up and ready for the next season. I'm a bit selfish when it comes to that.
I'm on the same boat as you there, aye. But no, I'm not saying that Alfie is getting special treatment, nothing like that. But I'm more hoping that I'm thinking it's not going to happen. I mean, I was thinking maybe he's went a bit, Kenny, he's capable of doing that. But maybe no, maybe I'm wrong. But say if we get beaten up first Champions League qualifier and he's not there, that's my kind of opinion. It's going to be, we didn't have Alfredo, Ken.
I think that's a concern. I'll give you that one. That really is a concern, because I raised the same point a couple of weeks ago. But if Morelos is no there or he's sold, we're left with Itten and Defoe before Sakala even was in the country. You're sitting going, that was your two forwards or centre forwards. You're getting it. Is that enough? I mean, it's a concern.
The boy in friendlies and I tell you, he's due a chance as well, because even last season against Motherwell, he did last minute and all that. Boy is a player, Ken. He's a young boy, Ken. He's done his chances no harm with the friendlies and that. Scored 2-3 goals, I think.
Sorry, mate, carry on.
No, carry on, please finish off.
I think Gerrard's just the simple old-time manager when it comes to centre forwards. You score, you play. It's as simple as that. You keep on scoring, you'll be in that team. There's no doubt about it. So Big Itten knows the score, you know what I mean? And Wisa Keller will know the score as well. Keep banging that ball in that net. You're in, you're playing.
Nice. Can we have Southside, could you give Jack an answer to his question about the Morelos?
Jack, this is just my opinion, right? It's no opinion of Rangers Radio or anything like that. This is just my own opinion. I think if a bid comes in, £20 million plus for Alfredo Morelos, he'll go. That's my honest opinion.
Gerrard said that today. Obviously, the right bid comes in, we recycle the money. Obviously, the money, if the right bid's there, obviously they go. But it's getting a bit late. It's getting a bit late now, Ken.
Well, he's a cracking player, mate. He's your best player. You know, he's a talisman. He can command the whole defence round about him. You know, he can pull them out of the park, as we've seen it happen. Yeah. He started scoring goals in Europe, in the Europa League. But I just think he'll probably go. And I think if the board get the right type of money, then we'll wish him well, and hopefully he'll go and become a success. But that's just my own opinion, mate. It's no opinion of anybody else's.
I agree with Southside on that.
I think you're right, Southside, myself. I think you're definitely right with that one. And as Gerrard said today, if enough money comes in for any player, it's definitely going. I'm not saying they're off, but it's definitely going to get considered. No, I mean, there's no doubt about that, because that is the business model. Let's not forget that is our model. It's buy cheap, sell dear. No, I mean, it's one of these situations that we've no choice. It's just the way the revenue streams work. We can't create enough money to hold this type of quality of player and that amount of players. It's just one of the things. You go down south, I mean, you could probably hold on to double the amount of players we've got at double the wages they're all, and I mean, but it's not like that up here, unfortunately. Fortunately or unfortunately, depends what your view is with commercialism in the game, but I'm not going to get into that one, because we'll be here all night talking about it.
It's the model now, isn't it? It's what we're aiming to do. We're aiming to bring good young players in, coach them on, have them for 2 or 3, 4 seasons here, up here in Scotland, have a successful team, and then when your team's successful, unfortunately, other clubs are going to start looking at your players. They're going to start talking about them. If they're performing well in European competition, as Rangers did last season and the previous season, other clubs are going to start eyeing them up. It's the way of the football world. That's just how it goes. And the only time your players the only time your players are being looked at by other clubs is when you're successful. That's the only time clubs are interested in your players, So it just goes hand in hand with having a successful team. It's just how it is.
I think the COVID's got played. Sorry, Jack, carry on, Paul.
No, I think the structure Rangers have got, and the people that's there, they're not stupid, you know what I mean? So if Alfredo, I'm sure they've got already a striker lined up if they get the right money, you know what I mean? So, but I still would be struggling to think Sakala and Defoe could lead us for a season, because Morelos is the main man. So you would need a replacement that's going to hit the ground running straight away. Because obviously the boy Sakala played well, but can you trust him for a whole season to get you goals every game? He's a new player, he just came to the club, and so that's my concern.
You don't know that,
Jack,
though,
do you, Jack? Did you get your answer? Did you get the answers to your question you were asking? Do you have the answers?
I know. I'm right.
Just to let you know, Jack, we've got a couple of callers coming in as well. I'd like to thank you for your call. And
hopefully we get a good win tomorrow.
Absolutely, pal. Well done.
Don't be a stranger, Jack. Don't be a stranger.
Don't be a stranger. Cheers, pal.
All right, no surrender, boys. Take it easy.
Cheers, Jack.
Cheers, Jack.
Big Al's waiting to come in. Good evening, Big Al.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Evening, Al.
Is that you sitting with an Ovaltine there, Rudy?
An Ovaltine, aye. Yeah, it's an Ovaltine. It's called a malt whiskey, Al.
Aye. Excellent. The question I've got for the panel, it's good to hear, as I take it that's Ox, I'll be up to the game.
No comment.
No comment, no. Good to hear a different panel. Or maybe he's bit on the side. Right, anyway. Will Jack get into the team, or where do you see his place in the team moving forward? I think he's a bench player now.
I think you're right, mate. I think you're right. I think he'll have a part to play, and I think Gerard's going to hit horses for courses this time. You know what I mean? We have got the players to do this now. We don't have to turn certain players into Rariba into a left back and things like that anymore. Yes. We've got enough players now to cover. So Jack, put it this way: if he ups his game to another standard, he'll get in the team. But I don't know if he's capable of doing that. So having said that, I think you're right. I think he's a bench player now. I definitely do.
I don't think you'll see him for a while, Al. I think it'll be a while before you see Ryan Jack back. We've got too many options in midfield right now, hasn't he? He's missed a lot of football, hasn't he? You know, and I know some people weren't too enamoured with Ryan Jack, but I happen to think he's a really good player, Al. You know, I think there's a place for him. Is he going to be and I think more importantly, I think Steven Gerrard really likes him as well. But is there going to be a place for him every week? I don't think so, Al, to be honest with you. No, you know, when you look at who bringing Lundstram in, you know, the boy Kelly's starting to make his mark now. You know, Stephen Davis was outstanding for the whole of last season. You know, Glenn Kamara just phenomenal in Europe, you know, and the domestic league as well. When you start looking at all them, does Jack get in ahead of him? He's going to. I think Albert touched on the point there. I think he's really going to have to up his game, Al, you know what I mean, if he wants to be a regular starter.
I think you'll find that difficult to get into the midfield now. I think Lundstram looks like a better player.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear Southside's. I like his opinion.
I think Lundstram might play more right hand side than I can play middle right. I agree. I think if Jack come back fit, mate, and he was back fit, but it'll take him a couple of months. I think he will be in the team. Davis was probably the only one that would probably keep him out it if he were only playing the one central. I think Kamara would, if he stays, would play left if he's getting a game. Lundstram, I think, would play right. That's why I think Arfield might struggle. If they're looking for pace down the right, you might put somebody in there with more pace. But I think Lundstram would play more right, I think, this year. That's just my own opinion. There might be games when he can play him central midfield, obviously, you know, because he looks like he's got a good area of passes. I was doing it Tranmere and I watched him that day, and he sprayed some passes, but they all looked rotten, to be honest, that day. But when I watched him against Brighton and Real Madrid, he looked a far better player, you know, fitter, and he looks like he's got a good area of passing. So I think he'd probably play right out.
Who does Jack then? Are we saying that Jack would play centre? He would be cover for Davis.
Mm-hmm. Aye.
Is that what we're saying?
That's what I think. Just mine. You got to remember. Remember, I'll see, like when Jack went out the team, Jack used to just drop into the right back position, and Tav could bomb. And there was a time last season when Tav wasn't bombing forward so much. We were using other players in there. But I think he misses Jack. I think he likes him. And I think if you get him fit, and he is fit, and I think he's a really good addition to the midfield.
Here.
You know?
Can we hear from Albert on that, please?
Say that again, mate.
Can we hear from you on that point that Big Al was saying about Jack?
See, Jack, to me, my mind, Jack's a different player for Davis. Davis is a sort of playmaker to me. He sets the tempo of the game. Jack can't do that. Kelly can do it, Jack can't. And there can Lundstram. They're not that type of player. So I don't think that it's like for like. If Davis is not playing, Jack will slip in there. To my mind, if Davis is not playing, Kelly will get in there. Because that's the type of player he is. That's the kind of player that wee boy is. And as far as I'm concerned, McLaughlin, Patterson, Kelly, Wright, and Hadji have all got to be starting to play 25, 30 games this year, because that's again, as I said to Rudy earlier on, that's our model. We need to bring these boys through, and all the players that are in that position, apart from Davis and McGregor, are all up for sale if they move on and make his money. So that's what we're trying to do, and win things. That's the difficult bit, and it's to keep winning things and keep the population moving along and keep the players circulating and develop, move them into the team and move on. So to my mind, Kelly replaces Davis, and Jack and Lundstrom are sort of going to be fighting for it. If Kamara stays, Jack and Lundstrom are going to start competing for a game between each other, and then you've got Hadji who can play a wee bit deeper. He and Aribo are going to start competing on that right hand side. Excuse me, because Kent and Morelos, if Morelos is fit, are starters. You just know they're starters. That's a given. To my mind, I'd be starting to play the boy Patterson, for example, out on the left hand side. I'd be starting that this weekend. That's what I would be playing. So you get Tav and him left back.
Playing Tav forward and playing Patterson as right back.
No. If Patterson and Tavernier are going to be in the same team, they fill the two fullback positions, mate. I don't agree with that one. We put him forward. I don't believe we put Tav forward. He's not going to be the same player we put him forward. He's perfect for the position he plays in, Tav. And Patterson's a good right back, but he's not as good as Tav at the moment. He will be, but he's not at the moment. But I would put him on the left hand side. I really would. Because I don't think Barisic is fit now. I know I'm getting off subject here, and you started with Jack, mate, and I'm
it's good.
But I would put Patterson now on the left. The boys go to have 25, 30 games this season. So is Kelly, so is Wright, so is Hadji, so is McLaughlin. McLaughlin, remember, is going to come in and be the keeper, and McCory's going to be his backup. So this is the season we need to get the most starting again in the team now. This is the season they all need to get in and win trophies. This is what it's all about now. You can't rely on the same old team for last year. We're all need to be pushing each other now. And the model dictates for us to be sustainable for the future. And that's what they're talking. Future-proofing the club means that all these players need to be starting to get into the team, proving themselves, winning the trophies. And the older ones, once we say 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, they start getting sold on, money coming in for them. That's what you're looking for. And then the next generation behind them moves in.
Oh, Bear. Start talking about playing Patterson at left back. Is that you telling Bassey he's not good enough then? If going to
mate, exactly the opposite, mate. I think Bassey is good enough, but I think he needs to go out on loan. He definitely needs to go to. Me personally, I would put Bassey out to a Scottish Premier club. That's what I would put Bassey out to. Okay. He needs to be playing now, that boy. You can't get the boy any bigger. He's as big as he's going to get. He's muscly.
He's a tank.
Oh, absolutely. So he's got all the attributes he's going to require. What he's requiring now is experience. So you need to get him out playing. Sorry, mate.
Sorry, just see what you're saying, but see if you put Bassey out on loan, right? Then we've got no cover for Tav, for Barisic. Do you know what I mean? So you could say you could put the young boy in there, right? But the young boy's got to learn playing right back, and he's done all right. But it's big. He'll not play every week. But I spoke about it, I think, last week. I think there's a chance you'll get 25 games this season. Maybe he'll not start 25, but you should get roughly 25 games. See, we play Dunfermline in the Cup. Patterson should be right back. McLaughlin should be in goals. Bassage could be left back. You know, you could even play Balogun and Simpson to give them a game. So there's a whole back four and a goalkeeper you could change. I'm not saying go mad anywhere else, but you could change that. Yeah. And you should still be good enough to beat Dunfermline at Ibrox in the Cup.
Well, they weren't good enough to beat St Mirren last year. I'd done it Love Street, and that was the cause of it. Big Bassey left back. And it was only an experience. I'm not saying the boy's a bad player. I'm not getting to the boy at all. The big boy has got something about him, but he needs to play. So you can't have them all in the team. That's what I'm trying to say. You can't have them all crammed into the team. It'll no work. So you need to start thinking of ways. So Bassey goes out in a 6-month loan, and you can recall him. Patterson plays left back and right back whenever they can get, but he needs to play 20, 25 games, I would reckon, this season. Kelly again, the same, and so is Wright and Hadji. Because these are assets we need to develop, and the only way you're going to get it, Big Al touched on it the other night. I was listening. The only way he's right. The only way you're going to get them developed is getting them into the team. They need to play, so you need to be careful how you do it, and that's the way I would do it. I don't know if you agree with it, but that's the way I would do it. Start getting these boys in. Sorry, anybody there?
We're all here,
we're here.
Every word there, pal.
Just waiting for you to finish, Albert, that was all.
I thought a new world record there and sent you out to sleep at the one time.
No, you wouldn't do that, that's for sure.
I think it's right what you say though, Albert. We have to get them into the team, don't we? I mean, what's the point in having a great young player like Kelly there if you're not going to give him game time? You know, he's had 2 good loans out. He's been away to Ayr United. He's been to Ross County. What's the point in sending him out a game? Again, well, we saw him at the weekend. We saw him. We saw how confident he is in himself and his play, you know. And Big Al was saying last week it was, Al was pointing out that this boy's got to be playing for us now. He's got to be in our squad. He's got to be playing regularly. I couldn't agree with you more. I really couldn't, Albert. You know, these players have to be playing. Bassey's only going to get the experience required if you play him. That's how he's going to get it, you know. If we can't play the likes of Bassey and Patterson, like you said, against Dunfermline, then what is the point in having these good young players there? They're not going to develop sitting on a bench. They're not going to develop kicking a ball about a training ground. They have to have experience coming up against, you know, men. You know, not playing in the young guys, not playing away with the young guys all the time, you know, playing young boys all the time. They need to come up against men, they need to come up against the top players in the Premier League, and the only way to do that is to get them into the team. I couldn't agree with you more.
I mean, Gerard's actually said that you sell about Patterson, he can't keep him on the bench or season. He can't do it. It's no right to do that. You can't do it. You can't keep that talent like on a bench.
You're keeping that. So what you're doing is, if you do that to him, you're keeping a Scottish international sitting on the bench.
Aye, and that's no feasible. That's just no feasible, mate.
Of course, it's not. No.
See with the players that we've got now, and the way we've been speaking about them, do you think that the manager might try a few changes tomorrow because we're Ibrox?
I don't think so, Bridgeman. I don't think the first game of the season is a good place to do that, to be honest. I think you need to get yourself into the season, you know, maybe 5, 6, 7 games into the season. You know, and if you've got to tinker with things a wee bit, then you start looking at it, you know, once the team's on a good roll and you're picking up points, you're winning games, you're playing well, scoring goals. I don't think you do that in the first game of the season. Livingston's a tricky game. Livingston's always a tricky game, you know. So I don't think so for tomorrow. I think what he'll do is, he's probably already done it, he'll sit down, you know, him and the coaching staff will sit down and they'll look at the strongest team, you know, who they think's available, who they've got available, and they'll pick the strongest team. They'll want to get after a flyer tomorrow. And as I said, I don't think the first game of the season, no matter who you're playing, but especially playing a tricky mob like Livingston, you don't want to give them any sucking in that game. So you pick your strongest team and go with that.
But do you think, Rudy, the team would be weakened if you put Patterson and Kelly in it? Do you think that they're that below the standard? I don't think they are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, Al, I don't think they are. I think they're 2 cracking young players, and I'm really excited, like most of the Bears are, to see how well that these 2 boys do this season, because I think the 2 of them are going to have really good seasons. You know, everybody speaks so highly, and we've watched them play. You know, Patterson's now an international player. You know, so we're watching these young guys. We know how good they are. You know what I mean? I just think your first game of the season, it's the very first game of the season. You want to set your stall out. So you want to pick the strongest team possible, you know, and with the amount of players that we've got and how well some of our players played at the weekend and stuff like that, you know, you've got to look at that. I don't think I'd like to pick a team, to be honest, now for tomorrow, you know.
No.
You know.
I just think I think it's important to get these players into the team for so long.
Would you play Kelly? Would you play Kelly and Patterson tomorrow then?
I wouldn't have any problem with putting them in. If I was the manager, I know I'd take the 2 of them in the team, but I'm not the manager. You can write what I know about football on the back of a postage stamp. But I would, yes, I would play them because I'm all for giving youth the chance, and I see the 2 young players. I think we've let a lot of young players go. that could have, with the right coaching, with the right mindsets, could have been. They missed the chance, and I think sometimes the heats go down on young guys if you don't give them the chance. They'll be champing at the bit to own that part. Personally, tomorrow I'd put them in and I'd play the two of them. Because Tavernier's not going to be there forever and Davis isn't going to be there forever. And they'll play their role. Sorry, on you go.
That's a good one. My team for tomorrow, right, and it'll sound mental, but there's a reason for it, is McLaughlin, Tavernier, Golson, Helander, Patterson. In the midfield with Lundstrom, Kelly and Kamara. Up front, Wright, Itten and Kent. That's my team for tomorrow. Then you get, because you got to remember Davis is the age he is, and McLaughlin will need to take care of McGregor eventually. You know what I mean? So you better get them in the new early doors, and you've got them sitting on the bench. I know there's only 3 subs tomorrow and all that, but you've got them sitting there. And if things go pear-shaped tomorrow, which I don't think they will, I hope they don't, you've still got the rest of the season to rectify it. No, I mean, you know, there's no point of bringing them in important games and something goes tits up and then we all start blaming, that boy's too inexperienced for this, he shouldn't have been playing. That's the big fear you've got. You know what I mean?
I think with Stephen Davis, Albert, I mean, you look at his season last season, right? You look at the season he had. He was outstanding, wasn't he? Now, can we get another season like that out of Stephen Davis? I'll be honest with you, I'll be surprised if we do. I hope we do. I really do, because it's like just amazing, you know. But do we get another season like that out of Stephen Davis? Don't know. I'm not so sure. But maybe with the fact that you've got a young guy like Kelly there now, you can afford to take Stephen Davis out the running a wee bit occasionally. You know, give him a wee bit of his legs a bit of a break, and let young Kelly go and, you know, and do all the running. And I think the same with Tavernier and all. Tav's an athlete. Tav's an absolute athlete. I'll ever miss it.
In regards to that, Rudy, you can't hear that young boy Kelly coming into the team playing great, and then maybe say when we're playing the beggars or whatever, you drop him and put Davis in because you want to go with that experienced older head. That's going to ruin his confidence.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I just mean. I
know you. But,
you know, I specifically mentioned Steve Davis because of the season he had last year. No, you get a place in the team on performance.
You keep that place.
You get it, and if you're something, I think it was Albert was saying earlier, all we want is our forwards to bang goals in, you know, like Itten and Sakala and Alfie. It doesn't matter how they do it. If they put the ball in the back of the net, if they're constantly scoring goals, they get that jersey. Well, it's the same with the midfield, whether it's Kelly or Davis. Whoever's doing the job regularly, you know, on a regular basis, they get the jersey. You don't mess about with a winning team. No, I agree with you. If he's in and he's doing well, he keeps the jersey.
Brilliant conversation. Can I just butt in? Because we're just ready to go for a tune, and it's over to Foxy. Could you all get on mute? And it's over to Foxy and Terry to give us a good old. I was going to say Sasquatch.
Are they singing live?
No, they could be, but they could be. Go over to Foxy.
Every Saturday we follow, we cheer the boys in blue, the most successful team in football. We're Scotland's gallant few, though times they have been hard, we're followed near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands in Ibrox Park. Every Saturday we follow to cheer the boys in blue. Successful team in football. Thank you. Times they have been hard. Will follow near and far. You will always hear us roaring from the stands at Ibrox Park.
Every Saturday will follow.
Brilliant. What a great tune, Bridgie.
Just brilliant.
Love it.
To see the boys in blue, that's for sure. Oh, can I just say, we've got a new caller coming in, and it's young Billy, Spanish Billy, if you can remember him, from Benalmadena over in Northern Ireland. Hello, Billy. Uh-oh.
Sounds like he's doing a bridge, man.
I'm just joining us now. Fox is getting him in now.
I wonder who he's named after.
I think it was that Foxy that screwed up his Oxford that screwed up his name. I thought it was Benalmadena. It's probably Ballymena. Hi, Billy.
Good evening, panel. How we all keeping this evening?
Hi, Billy.
Wow.
Hi, Billy.
I'm still trying to figure out where my actual location is. It seems to change every night. Ballymedina, Ballymakenna, Ballymadena.
Okay, tell the world where you're actually from then.
I am from the same village as Sir Stephen Davis, Cullybecky, 3 miles outside Ballymena and Ulster.
You're Ballymena then?
Aye, just wee village outside Ballymena, so about a minute and a half standard for where Steve Davis grew up.
Wow. So claim to fame right enough, yeah?
Aye. Well, I know his family, his in-laws, like his wife and his mother-in-law and his brother-in-law, but I don't know him personally, but not too well, but...
So the big question, Billy, would you drop him and pick Kelly in? Let's hear your opinion.
In a word, no, not yet.
Well done, Billy. Well said.
I think you're a bit biased there, Billy, but I'll leave it at that.
No, it's all what's...
No, I'm only joking.
No, it's for what's best for the team, and I think with the stakes so high now, in my opinion, this season is far more crucial and far more important than last season. And we don't have time for sentimentality or jobs for the boys, and it's what's best for the health of the team. And I think right across the club now, there's that sense of urgency to ensure that we never put ourselves in a position or never allow anybody else to put us in a position where we could potentially go back to devastating lows that where we were at in the past. And I think I haven't seen enough of Kelly because I didn't see all the pre-season games, so it would be unfair of me to comment. But I think a guy like that there, regardless of how much potential he has, you have to sort of ease him into the team. And I mean, Davis is like, he's right in the engineering room, makes things happen, and I don't think it would be fair on the young boy or the fans to like just basically drop Davis so soon. But I also wouldn't be afraid to drop him if the time's right and to put youth in. But for now, in a word, no, not yet.
Well, do you think we can get another season out of Stephen Davis like last season? Because he was phenomenal last season, wasn't he? So do you think we can get another season like that out of Stephen Davis?
I definitely think there's another season this season. You know, I definitely think they'll get a season out of him. To the same extent, I honestly don't know. From what I've heard and what I know about him, he takes incredibly good care of himself. And as you know, look at his age and look how fit he is and how much he played last season. That he might not feature as much, or he might play 60, 70 minutes opposed to the 90. But we don't really know yet, do we? But I would suspect there's nothing to question his fitness and certainly not his work rate and ethics. So I think he'll still be a pivotal player for us this season.
I hope you're right, Billy. I hope you're right.
Billy, can you just hold on a wee minute? I've got to bring someone in here. Can we bring in Jack? Is Jack there?
No, sorry.
No, he was coming back in. Can we get Jack back in, please? He's adding him back in now, so just give it a second. That was the chap that was on a second ago, so might just have something to say. Then we'll be in trouble.
He might be doing a Bridgeman.
He's doing a Bridgeman. Hello? That's a good chance. Is that you, Jack?
Hello, how's it going again?
Hello, pal.
Excuse, obviously, I've had a few vodkas tonight, but I've enjoyed the show. But it was just a conversation about, we would take Patterson and Bassey and Kelly into the team. You've got to think, how can you drop a team that was so successful last year? Tavernier, Barisic, Davis, three of the best players for the whole season. You're not just going to drop them and give young boys a chance. I mean, come on, we want to go for 56. I found that obviously the young boys, it's good to give them a game, like you're saying, cup games, etc. But you can't be talking about changing a whole team of successful players that just won you the league. Come on.
Well, it's very difficult, I know, and some of the guys have got the same views as you, and I don't forget there's thousands and thousands of Rangers fans who think the same way as you as well. So, but remember, Jack, we've got callers rolling up here, so I need to cut you short here. I do apologise, but good point, and the guys will talk about it most of the night. So, can I just say good evening? Thank you for calling. Cheers, pal. George E.K.
We've got to move forward. It's not a point in dropping players. You know what I mean? It's looking at the prospects that we have.
Can I ask you something? Was that irking you there? Was that irking you?
Aye, a wee bit. Aye. Because we never made. Bassey was going out on loan. I don't want Bassey in the team. I think Borna Barisic is more than capable of fulfilling that role.
Wow.
It's refreshing the team. I think it's no a bit of negative. I'm just all for promoting youth, and I'm sick and tired of players that show prospects and they never get in the team. Albert said that we've built a model that we have to bring our players through. There's no better than bringing your own player through 3 or 4 seasons and selling him on, and he has a great career. There's a lot of players that have been through our club that have went by the wayside. It really irks me that we don't give youth a chance when there's clearly talent there.
I agree with you in some respects.
Hold on, guys, please. Hold on. We've got George E.K. in. You in there, George?
All right, lads. How's doing?
Right,
Good to hear you. Good to hear your dulcet tones, boy.
Let's hear you.
Just, boy, I agree with a lot of things Al said at the beginning, know what I mean? About, Jack. I think Jack will be a bench player this season, by the way, because the injuries, man, they're happening too often, by the way. Know what I mean? And also, I think, see the team I've picked. I've picked McGregor, Barisic, Hollander, Golson, Tavernier, Davis, Kamara, Lundstrom, Kent, Hadji, and Sakala. I think you have to go with your best team. It might be limit. We need to go out there and win 3 points. We need these 3 points. So who's our best team at?
I think the problem is, George, we disagree what the best team is. You know what I mean?
Aye, but that's
We're
the
with the team anyway,
point.
let's be honest about it.
Aye, but that's the point I'm trying to make. You're right, George. That's the team you'll probably go with. They'll probably go with the strongest team. The team I put out, I'm good, mate. The team I put out and suggested was speculating. No, I mean it's the team I would put out. But I'm no Gerrard. No, I mean,
I like your team.
And as Bully said, this is an important season. We know it's an important season. It's not just an important season to be 56. It's an important season to win the league, get in the Champions League automatically next year. That all these things into consideration. No, I mean, you would take them all into consideration. So, having taken them into consideration, Gerrard would never go with the team I suggested. He'll go with the winning formula. Of course he will. But Big Al's right. The youth need to get a chance eventually. And it's not so much giving youth a chance. If they're good enough, they get into the team. So the senior players in the team should feel under pressure for these young boys. And the only way you're going to put them under pressure is giving them games and saying, look, if you're going to play, if your standards are dropping, that boy's ready to step in, and here, I'll show you, play him in certain games and say, there you are, the boy's ready.
That was my point. But that was my point, Bob. You play your strongest team all the time, and if that's Stephen Davis or the young boy Kelly, well, whoever's performing in the training ground and on the pitch, that's who you play. I don't care what age they are, whether they're a young player or one of the one of the first teamers for last season. It doesn't matter to me. All I want to see is the strongest team we can put on the park. That's what I want to see on the park.
Well, to be honest, guys, then Kelly and that team's not your strongest team on the park. You've just answered. You know, I'll tell you. I mean, listening to George's team and that, our teams are all going to be similar, right? I think the team that plays tomorrow will be similar, which will start on Tuesday. So I think McGregor starts. Yeah. I think the back four stay the same as last season. Tav, Borna, Helander and Golston. I think this is just my opinion. I think Kamara might not play. You'll play Hadji there, play Davis and Lundstrom. And up front, I would go Kent, Itten and Sakala.
Aye, that's a good team and all.
That's what I would go with, but that's just my team. There might be one or two, obviously Wright's not in it and other ones, but I think there'll be a view to the team who picks tomorrow. There'll be a view to the team that's going to play on Tuesday night.
Southside, that's the team that started against Real Madrid. That's the team I would start with.
Here, Rudy, there's a good chance that might be the team that will start. I'm just putting it in because I've said on here a few times, I like him, right, but he's never had a chance. He's never had a run of games. He needs a run of games.
He's done well in the friendlies, hasn't he?
Well, he's sometimes he's looked a wee bit cumbersome at times, and sometimes he's made the wrong decision. But he scored 3 goals, right? He's worked hard in pre-season. He's done the pre-season that Gerrard's wanted. So why not start him?
Aye.
Against Livingston? You know, you could even have Sakala on the bench and play right on the right-hand side.
I still think Big Iken's an impact player. I don't think he's ready to lead the line. But necessity dictates we may have to play him on Saturday. So he probably will play. I would like to see him play, but I still think he's no a leader of the line. He's still an impact player.
Well,
he can develop. No, I mean, there's no doubt he can. And he's got some talent. He has got a degree of talent there. But,
he's not had a lot of starts, but see when Alfie's fit, Alfie plays. Alfie's never injured, Albert. He is the best striker we have. He's proved that. So for anybody else to come in and get a run of games, you've got to play out of position. So when he's had games, he started, he's played wide right, and then everybody's on his back. Oh, he's not doing good because he's a striker. He's a number 9. But he needs a run of games now. If he goes out and scores against Livingston, goes out and scores against Malmo, then he's off and he's flying and he's off and running. Then you'll have a dilemma when Alfie's fit. If he's still here, I don't think he will be. But if he's fit and he's here,
hold on, guys, please a second. We're trying to get Billy back again. Spanish Billy, you there?
I am indeed, yeah.
Could you just give us a wee comment on what the guys are talking about now, about the team and the players?
Yeah, no problem. So Basically, I think you need to start as you mean to go on and put out a statement of intent. So I don't think you should be changing a tried and tested starting 11 for the first game of the season. I think you should go with what you know. Yes, I agree that you do need to give youth a chance, but at the same time, it's about finding that balance. And I think the likes of Hadji is... for me, more a European option. We all know he's more suited to playing against European teams or in European competitions because he has more space and more time, and he really, really thrives in that platform. Whereas Aribo's foot control, Aribo's so good at getting out of tight spaces, and he's used to playing against teams, that play with park the bus and play with 10 behind the ball. So I think for league games, Aribo's maybe a better option for league games opposed to Hadji, but Hadji more for European games. That's just my personal opinion. I would go with McGregor, Tavernier, Goldson, Hollander, Barisic, Davis, Kamara, Lundstrom, Kent, Sakala and Ruth. I would really, really like to see Kent on the left and Wright on the right, no pun intended, but I suspect that it will maybe be the striker role and the forward right that will maybe probably got wrong. I'd say I'll maybe got the Sakala and Ruth.
Well, see, there's a strange thing, Billy. There you say one minute you're saying that you would go with the tried and tested last year, but this year you've got Lundstrom and you've got Sakala in the team. Lundstrom we've seen in 3 friendlies, and Sakala we've seen 45 minutes of. So it's one of these situations. You just see it as you see it. No, I mean it's nobody's right, nobody's wrong. It's just one of these things. So if you're bringing Lundstrom in, you're bringing Sakala in. That's development. That's development of the squad. But we've not seen any of them. So if we're going to go tried and tested. Yeah, Arfield, Jack, and Kamara, and Hadji, and Ruth have all got, and Aribo, have all got shouts to play them on it. They've all got shouts to play because we've seen them. They've won the league. So it's a difficult one.
Speaking about
it's difficult because I find myself constantly contradicting myself because we're so rich in options. It's like head versus heart. You want to see these new players. Sorry.
Speaking about bringing in. Amanda's on the call here. Are you there, Amanda?
I'm here, aye. Spanish Billy, I agree with everything you've just said there. I really do. I think there's a time for tampering with the team. No tampering with the team, but changing the team. Changing the team. There's a time for changing the team. And I think you're right. And I think Kelly and that will get their turn. But I think at the moment, for the first game of the season, we need to go with the team we know. And then, if we see where the changes can be made, if we get cup games where we get a run maybe, and we get on a good run, change it then. But don't change it now. Start with the strongest team tomorrow, and then we'll see where we stand.
Well, would you play Lundstrom tomorrow, Amanda? Would you play Lundstrom tomorrow?
It's kind of a tricky one, because I don't know. I'm kind of 50-50 with that one, whether I would or no. I would go with the team we knew for last season and then see. I mean, we've got plenty of scope to adapt to team. You know what I mean? I'd say maybe... I don't know if I would play him or no. It's a kind of fun, a tricky one because obviously because we've no really... I don't think I've really seen much of Lundstrom to say aye, I would or I wouldn't. You know, so...
I think this team's turning into a conundrum, innit? It really is turning into a conundrum.
Can I come in there?
Aye.
I mean, there's no doubting Lundstrom was bought as a first-team player. You look at his pedigree. He's brought as a first-team player. That's... Him coming into the squad is moving the squad forward. At the moment, so he's there. He'll be playing tomorrow. That's a definite. I don't think you can question that. The players on the bench are going to be your Arfields, your Jacks, whoever. We can't keep going to the well with these players. We have to make the team fresh If you keep going with the same teams, we've been caught in the past with the same teams. The opposition work you. You have to freshen up. You have to get new dynamics in the team. That's how I would like to promote some of the young guys. See them more frequently in the team.
That's what I'm saying. But I think there is a chance for that. You know, I just think tomorrow, for the first game, play with the strongest team you've got.
Yeah, and that's whoever's the strongest team. But I think you've got to shake it up. You've got to be moving forward. We've got to be seen to be moving forward. We can't keep going back to the well with players. That's my opinion on it.
You get caught out that way. You get caught. I mean, as you know, we've been caught with that in the past, keeping the same team for too long, and then the freshness wears off of them. You know, and I think we need to be aware of that as a squad as well. That there's room for adaptation. You know, for changing things about. But I don't know much about football, but I talk a good game.
You're in the right place, Amanda.
But no, I'll let you. I'll go and let more callers come in. But I'm not going, and I've got a ticket. But I'll see it on the telly tomorrow anyway. So
take care, Amanda.
I will do, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Bye.
Can we bring George EK back in?
I'm here, mate. I'm here.
Right. Give your comments on what the boys are talking about.
Comments on who's talking about?
All the boys, what they've been talking about the last 10 minutes.
Moving the team about.
Aye.
Changing the team's eyes. I don't. I
know you don't agree with that, but the guys are saying there's time you can do it and times you don't, you know.
Aye, there is time to do it, man. Put it this way, if we're playing tomorrow and it's not working, we're going to have to change things. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? Let's be honest about it. So Carl's going to get his first introduction to Scottish football tomorrow. He's going to get the lumps kicked to him. Let's be honest about it. That's a definite, isn't it? Mm-hmm. You put money in that.
The team will have to change to a certain extent anyway.
I mean, what's that, Miguel?
I'm saying the team will have to change and have to play slightly different if we're going to put Itten through the middle. He's not going to do the job that Morelos does.
No.
So the other players are going to have to compensate for that.
Yeah, that's a thing, Big Al. That's a thing, Big Al will have to evolve for Alfie if he moves on.
That's see what you just said there, big man. You just hit the nail right in the head. It's this thing evolve.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the words of the week. That's up there with catastrophe. Or catastrophic. Sorry. That's up there with catastrophic. Yeah. Evolve. The team has to evolve.
Has to, aye.
That's what I'm really. That's what I'm trying to get.
I can see. I mean, Patterson. It'd be good if we could play him every week, but we can't and we won't. But hopefully he'll get enough game time. I said before, Al, if he can get 25 appearances this season.
I agree with you, big man. I agree with you there. I was thinking about that the other night there when you were speaking about it.
And like you say, if Stevie G wants to go down this road of playing Patterson wide right or Tav wide right, then what we're saying is you're taking a player like Lundstrom, or you're taking an Arfield, or you're taking whatever, you have a Rebo in there, a Hadji, a Roof, whatever. You're taking that right hand side away. You know, Lundstrom's brought into your team to enhance it, you know, and he's going to play more weeks than he'll no play. I think he'll be a regular as long as he's playing well, you know.
There's a player there that I think we've all missed as well, Roof.
Aye.
I mean, I like Roof. I think he's an exciting player. I think the team has evolved when he's in it. I think he could be a big player again because I think he's quite dynamic. He gives us something different. For him being such a small guy, he's quite big in stature on the park, I think. You know, he's scored quite a few important goals. He's scored spectacular goals. I think he's got a bit of dig about him as well. See, that's a player I would like to see in the team ahead of an Aribo, ahead of a Hadji. I'd like him in my team. Wherever we get him in, like, you know, that type of player, I think he's a big positive for us.
Can we get Billy back in again?
I think it's Andy. Bridge, I think it's Andy.
Sorry, pal. Sorry.
Andy for Leeds, I think so.
Is Andy for Leeds in? Okay.
Aye.
Let me get him in. In 18 minutes, can we get him in? My fault there, by the way. God, what have I done there?
See, what you spoke about earlier about the players, the backups and that. See, when we look at the goalkeeper position.
Hello.
You've got McGregor. I think McGregor's our number one. Then I think McLaughlin is the backup to McGregor. But this might sound a bit crazy, but I think McCrory has to be the prospect for the future. So
McLaughlin's not in the European squad, Al.
I know, but we're talking about him. I think if by all reports, McCrory's the future, yeah. So I think he has to then take precedent in regards to McGregor. If you have to see him in the team there, because he doesn't look as if he would be getting much game time.
I think, my opinion, Big Al, I think McLaughlin's the one that's probably more chance of going into the number one jersey. As long as he's playing well, I think, after McGregor.
Oh, he's a good goalkeeper, I know. But that's what I'm saying. There's a bit of a dilemma there. We've got a young guy who's meant to be a good prospect, but there's somebody standing in his way. So, you know what I mean? He's sitting third at the moment, but by all accounts, he's meant to be for the future. So, how does he then get that game time ahead of McLaughlin? Because McLaughlin's not a young guy.
No.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
He's a good keeper, Al McLaughlin, by the way. I'm clean sheets, by his distribution with his feet. It's absolutely excellent.
It's better than McGregor with his feet.
But how do we get the young guy in?
But I think McLaughlin's the perfect age for McCrory. That's what I'm saying. I think he's the perfect age for McCrory, because it gives McCrory another 6 months to a year to get more experience, and then he simply slips in behind what McLaughlin's doing to McGregor at the moment, and then he's ready to go, because McLaughlin only have 2 or 3 seasons in him anyway. But I would expect McCrory to take over before that anyway. I'd expect McCrory to take over maybe the end of this season and begin the next season. I would expect McCrory to start coming into the team. So it's a nice. See the age, the dynamics with the ages and all that. It's just perfect at the moment for certain positions. It really is just perfect. And it bodes well for the future. Rudy, who did you say there was in the European squad? Was it McLaughlin?
No,
McLaughlin. Has he no?
Apparently so. My mate texted me earlier and said I don't think McLaughlin's in the squad. I think it's something to do with the European thing with homegrown players and all that kind of thing. I would imagine McLaughlin.
Guys, hold on. We've got Andy from Leeds. He's waiting to speak to us. So let's hear you, Andy.
Good evening. I think it's a good luxury that we've got here picking players, but I'm absolutely dismayed that we're actually saying Jack's going to be a bench player. Now, that guy's fit, comes through this operation he's had, right? He's playing the majority of the games. He's Gerrard's man. He's mentioned it 2 or 3 times, his name again tonight. How he can suddenly become a bench player, I can't wear that. Now, I know he's my favourite and all that, but that's just not right. That's just a ridiculous
You're
statement.
slightly biased there. You had him last season signing this season for Liverpool.
Yeah, listen, I might be biased, right? Listen, Andy, I might be biased, right? Hang on.
I think you're sleeping with him, Andy.
Listen, if he comes through fit, I'm telling you, Gerrard will pick him, right? I'm quite aware of what you think about Jack Al, but I'm making my opinion on him, right? And he's a good player, is Jack, and if he comes through fit, he will play under Steven Gerrard in the majority of the games.
Right, who does he then replace? Who does he replace? Who does he replace in the team? I'm curious to see where he fits in the team.
I would just have him in the same position as he was last season, under what Gerrard thinks about him. That's Gerrard's problem, not mine. But he's definitely not a bench player.
Andy, we'll have 12 players on, and he needs to replace somebody. Who do you take out the team to put Jack in?
Well, I wouldn't have the guy for Sheffield United in preference to him now. He's got to be in now because Jack's injured. But I wouldn't have him in because of that. Well, he's played 1 half against Real Madrid.
And he's not done aerial challenges yet. He's got to start doing that for a while before he's in the team, I think.
I appreciate that, George. But what I'm saying is if he comes through the operation and he's fit and he's ready, he will be in that team under Gerrard. My words. He penned today in his conference. He mentioned Jack 2 or 3 times.
I heard that.
Now,
He said it would be like having a new player.
That's right. It doesn't matter what I think about him or you think about him. If Jack's fit and he comes through that, Gerrard, that's his man. That's what I think, you know.
I'm confused. I'm really confused as to what he really brings to the team. I think in his Rangers career he's had about 6. No, I really am. So I'd like to hear you. You tell me what he brings, what dynamic he brings to the team.
You don't think he brings anything to the team?
No, I think there's. No, I'm asking. I've asked you the question. If you could answer the question, what dynamic does he bring to the team for you? Then
I think he pushes the team on. When Tavernier became a better player, like Candace did with him, he covered for him when Tavernier wouldn't come back. He's got a drive in it. He pushes. He's will to win the ball all the time. I don't even think we should even be questioning what Jack gives to the team. Every man in his dog last season when he got injured said, "Oh, we miss Jack. Last season was the same, the close season. No, he shouldn't get in the team. He's a bench player at most. As soon as he was out of the team, everybody's going, hang on a minute. We need Jack. If Jack's a very good player, he does a lot for the team.
I agree with you. He does a lot for the team. I agree that he's your favourite, and I agree I like Jack and all that. But you've got to remember, most of the season he missed last season, and look at the season.
I get that. Albert, I get that.
So you can't turn around and say, put him in and he's going to improve the team. How can you improve that team?
I didn't say that, Albert. What I said was, if he's fit and he's ready, he'll play under Steven Gerrard. It doesn't matter what I think of whether he's my favourite player. Steven Gerrard likes him. Steven Gerrard wants him in the team.
I totally agree with you, mate. Totally agree. And I totally agree he'll probably play because Gerrard does like him, know what I mean? He has got his favourites, know what I mean? So what Rudy, Al and me and all the rest have been saying about picking teams and all that and you keep the jersey and all that, there's a bit of that comes in here. He'll play his favourite player. The reason he'll play Jack, not just for being his favourite, he never lets him down. That's what he said. He's always reliable. He never lets me down. So
correct.
Sometimes you just go to that well all the time and draw for that well, but there is going to be times that you're going to have to look at Jack and go,
but it's not so much that when you get in the team, right, it's a case of, right, I can't get my head around when you're talking bench player. He's no bench player. I can't get my head around that.
I think yes. I think we've improved. I think we've brought a player in Lundstrom that's a better player than him. He's not going to push Davis at the team and he's not going to push Kamara at the team. Right, so the role of another plays for him is a bench.
He's not played a competitive game yet.
He plays for a few games, then he's back out injured, man. That's not good enough, man.
I know that, George. I've said that. I'm not disagreeing with that. Not at all.
Andy, see the day that see in that cup final when you seen him crying on the park, that was the day I just don't think he's got it. When he turned around and he was crying on it. No, that's for that day. I went right off him because I don't think that should be done. If he's such a prolific player, such a steady influence in the team, for the rest of the team to see him crying after a cut, I just don't think that. That was the day I went off him.
Hold it, guys. We've been joined by John from Burbank. Hi, John.
Hi, pal. How you doing? How's all the guys there?
Everybody's just waiting to hear you.
Yeah, there's one question I want to put to the panel. What do you think? See a three men that was working at playing up in front on Sunday against Real. Do you think any Scottish team could handle that?
My opinion is no, John. I said that on Sunday night to my son-in-law. You play the three against Livingston or any other team in the Scottish Premier League with their Payne, Sakala, Kent and Scott Wright, and they'll tear teams apart. So they will with their pace.
Yes, I agree with you, mate.
I agree with you. Said it on Sunday night.
Yeah, because I thought they were outstanding, mate. Really were. I mean, I'm 73-year-old, but I'll tell you, I've never seen football as long, for as long, played by Rangers the way they did there. You know, I thought they were really they outplayed them.
Yeah. Well, there's a debate whether Roof's going to be fit. We don't know if Aribo's going to be fit or Roof's going to be fit. The Alfie can't play come tomorrow. So why not just start with the three you started with against Real Madrid?
Yes, I agree with you. Because even I know the likes of 11 there's like 10 men in a ball. I think that team would run riot. I really do.
I agree with John. I agree. Don't know about the rest of the boys, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be the forward line in the Mora, mate. I think that is the forward line. I don't think there's any doubt about it. And they're rightly so. I mean, they played really, really well. No? So there's no reason not to go with them. But you never know, Gerard. Then you always pull something out of the hat, don't you?
That's right, Andy. I know. But at the same time, that was outstanding this Sunday. It really was. I mean, I couldn't get over the way they played. I mean, it's as if they were there back to last season playing in Europe, because the way they played football was outstanding.
They stopped them getting hungry, control of the ball. They the ball up from them rapid, quick, and that's the way we should play all the time. But then again, in Scotland, you've got 10 men behind the ball. It's a different kettle of fish, isn't it?
Of course it is. I'm really happy with it. That's it. It stays like that. 56 is here. Plus, I think we'll go far in Europe. I think we'll go into the Champions League proper.
Like your optimism, John. Like your optimism.
Yeah, definitely like that.
No, we're right, Jack in the team with Wongley. Hey, Andy.
Yeah, listen. Ryan Jack was a standout for us before the injury. You know that.
Listen, you can say what you want about Jack. What I think of him, it doesn't matter. It's what Gerard thinks about him. And if he's fit, he's coming back.
That's it.
You didn't like Jack for greeting on the park. I'm glad you weren't in my living room that day. You wouldn't like me either.
No. I don't like that in players. I don't care what they do behind the scenes. You can go into the changing room and greet into a stupor. I don't care. But on the park, you don't show that weakness on the park. That allows the opposition and players that play against you. In future games know that you there's a weakness here. I'm not against crying. I cry. I'm a grown man and I'll admit it, but I'll not cry in front of you. I'll cry in my tea or I'll go in my bathroom. You know what I mean?
Well,
I just think
I'll cry in front of you if you stop your bar, man. I'll definitely cry in front of you.
No. I'm a lover, bro.
Can I just come in a wee minute, pal? John, we're getting an awful lot of noise from you, pal. So we'll say good night, if you don't mind. We're getting a lot of noise.
Okay then,
okay. And I'll speak to you soon.
Pal, thank you. Good night, boys.
Bye.
Good night, John.
Hey, John.
Bye.
Take care, mate.
Can we hear from Spanish Billy, because he's sitting in the background?
Yeah, just before I hop off, give somebody else a chance. Is it okay if I just give my opinion on Jack?
Yes, please.
So basically, like last season, I don't think we realised how much we missed him until he returned. It's when he came back from injury, instantaneously we realised what he brought to the team. And I appreciate the comments about Lundstram not being signed to sit on the bench. Like Lundstram's been brought in as a first team player, and I appreciate that and would agree with that. I personally really like Jack, and I think last season, I know he didn't play a lot, but when he did play, he was so important. And a lot of the conversation topics we had were along the lines of, who are we going to bring in for that bit of bite in the midfield? Like, we're lacking that with Jack out, and I think that really showed when we didn't have Jack. We were missing that presence in the midfield. And I understand that Lundstram now is with the view to replace Jack, but for me, yes, Jack's too good to be sitting on the bench. But if Lundstram's brought in, who am I to say? I think it's good. I'm a very big fan of Jack, but Lundstram, I didn't see the Brighton game now, but from what I've seen of him, the other game, he seems to be very, very strong, and he's not afraid to go forward or have a pop. So, although I'm a big fan of Ryan Jacks, it's what's best for the team, and I think it's a good dilemma to be in. So,
Andy, mind and send that 20 quid to Bully, right?
Listen, Billy talks common sense right enough at the end of the day. Listen, it doesn't matter about whether he was greeting on the back. His performance that day and when he went down on that knee and his will to get back up and play against them, that shows you how much heart that guy's got.
Well, we're different then because we didn't win the game. We didn't win the game, so...
Aye, but one guy don't win the game, does it? It's 11 players.
Well, the way you talk about him, you would think he would. You would think he would. No, this is on. This is all friendly banter, Bridge. I'm not having a go. I'm just saying I don't think at the moment, and this is just my opinion. It's not Rangers Radio opinion. It's Big Al's opinion. I don't think he gets in that first team. Are you dropping Kamara? I don't think so. Are you dropping Davis? Everybody's talking tonight. I don't think so. And I think Lundstrom is going to push us forward. Gives us another dynamic in the middle of the park. So the only place for him is on the bench, or he sits in the stand, or he goes to some other club in Scotland. Better never stops, and I think we've brought in a better player. And I don't want him taking a place for the young Kelly boy.
That's a different thing. Your opinion on how he plays, and then you turn and say you don't want him doing that. That's the manager's choice. You just don't want him there. Is that what you mean? You just don't want him there.
No. I just don't think there's a. I don't think there's a position for him with the three mainstays at the moment: Lundstrom, Davis, or Kamara. I would. No, I'm not saying that. I think he's a good bench player. But I'd like to see Kelly getting a place before him. He can fill in. He can fill in for Davis or Kamara when needed.
Sorry, Jim.
So you're actually saying you want Kelly in front of Jack?
Yes. I would say him in the pecking order because I want to see the youth progressing. Jack's not the future. Kelly's the future in that respect.
Jack's 29 years old. That's nothing in football. If he comes back fit, you've got 3 or 4 years out of him.
No, he's... I'll agree with you there. You might get 3 or 4 years out of him in Rangers B team, but I didn't see 3 or 4 years out of him in the big team.
I'm not biting.
Andy, I'll ask you a question.
Your Wallies will fall if you bite any more.
Andy, if an offer came in for Jack of, say, 6-7 million, would you accept it?
Damn tootin'.
Well, I wouldn't, but Gerrard or Rangers, they might look at it with his current problems.
Put it this way, I'll ask you another way. Put a price on him. What do you think he's worth?
Jack?
Aye.
I'd have him about the 8 million mark, right enough. You've got to dodge with the injuries, haven't you? You know what I mean? But look, Jack will know. Look, I've said it before.
Somebody offered 8 million, right? No, but somebody offered 8 million for Jack right now with his injury history. Right now, offered 8 million, Rangers would bite the horn off him. You can't argue with that one. They would bite the horn off him.
Yeah, of course they would. That's football. I get that. But I mean, as it stands to now, have this guy, I've said it before, it's not to do with my favourite player. This guy breaks down this time round, right? He'll not go to another club. He'll call it, he's an honest lad. He'll call it a day. He won't go to anybody else. So he knows himself. Do you honestly think Jack don't know this is his last chance saloon for him? Not because he can't play, it's because he's got this injury that persistently keeps cropping up there. But it doesn't matter what I think or anybody.
Do you remember how he got the injury, Andy? Do you remember how he got the injury?
I do, it was the guy at Motherwell that snapped his body knee.
That's right. Enough talk about Ryan Jack, guys. Easy now. Well, we're in the last 15 minutes, so can we just go around everybody and get their thoughts on tomorrow's game?
Bridge.
And special. Go on, pal.
Bridge, I'll give you a prediction for tomorrow. I'm going for 4-0 Rangers.
Right, okay. Well, how we're going to play and that kind of thing. I'm just going to be in general chat about tomorrow's game and what your hopes for. Well, obviously, you're hoping we're going to win 4-0, did you say?
4-0 tomorrow. Looking for a good performance. Hopefully, we'll play a team similar to what we've mentioned. We've got a few choices. We've all picked a team sort of similar. I think the back four and the goalkeeper have been mainly consistent. Midfield to front's been a wee bit either or with a player here or there. So I'm just looking for a good performance. If we play like we did against Real Madrid, then it'll be 4 no bother. So if we can get a performance like that, because we need a good one to take us into Europe We've got a game on the Tuesday, so we'll look for a good performance tomorrow, and I've been buzzing to get to Ibrox and see the team come up.
I'll go for a 3-0 Bridgeman. I'll take that quite happily with a really good performance after a flyer in the league. First game of the season, really excited about the new season, some of the new players we've brought in. As far as the team goes, who knows? It's Steven Gerrard, isn't it, that's picking it. So at the end of the day, he usually chucks a bit of a curveball. So it's hard to say, but I'd like to see a team pretty similar to the team that started against Real Madrid. That's the team I would go with.
Andy for Leeds?
Yeah, same. I stole my line there. I'm putting a 4-0 on tomorrow there for a wee cheeky fiver on it. I'd like to see him go with the three up top. I'd like it a bit hitting, like I said last night, but I think he'll go Sasha, Kent on one wing, right on the other, and I think that pace, I think they will buy us penalties and free kicks as well because they're too fast. Normal back line and that midfield with Kamara, Lumsden and Davis. I think we'll be all right tomorrow. I think we'll want to go out and set a marker doing. What I'd like to see is go out there and really show them that we mean business right from the off. If we get that, sets us up, we put the pressure on them later for the later game. Hearts keep it tight with them. You never know, you could drop a couple of points there. Could be a couple of points away straight away. So that would be my wish for tomorrow.
Excellent. Spanish Billy? How's it going? Okay. George EK?
The back four will go quick to the midfield, by the way, right? And Davis, Kamara, Lumsden will move quick to the front three. Kent will tear them apart. And honestly, Hadji will play good really well as well. Kent up to Sakala, and I think we'll win 3-0.
3-0?
Yeah.
That's pretty good, George.
That's
it. We're going to be playing at Ibrox, and I'm the other one that's going to do the. I would say, I don't really know what to think about what's going to happen tomorrow, other than the fact that I want us to win. Obviously, I would say I'm going on a Bridgeman. I want to win nothing at least, and obviously, hope for five. But if we can get some play the way we've been played, particularly in parts of that game against Real Madrid, we were excellent. If we can come away with that kind of play on that pitch, it would be really wonderful to see. And let's hope we can do this, something like that. I'll stick with 1-0 myself.
That's it, yeah.
Can I get mine?
Albert, please.
I'll go with Rudy, 3-0. I don't care about how we play as long as the attitude's right and apply themselves. I don't care how we play as long as it's 3-0. As long as we get a victory. And the good thing about it now is I don't care what the team is really, because we've got a bunch of good players no matter who he picks. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to disagree with it because I like all the players. No, I mean, there's no any player in there that I don't like now.
Yep.
Well said, mate.
Are you quite happy? Did we hear from Big Al? Sorry.
No, you haven't. No.
I do apologise.
No, you're all right. I didn't make predictions, but I want a brace off of Patterson and a brace off of Kelly tomorrow.
You're very
a brace off of Jack.
Very good.
He's in braces, man. He's never out them. Moon boots and that. Moon boots. I can't wait till he signs for Liverpool, man. I'll fly over to Leeds and kiss that man's feet. Now, all joking aside, what Albert said there as well, it doesn't matter who takes the field. We've got a good squad of players, right? We've got a strong squad of players. It's imperative that we get a win, whether it's a Bridgeman or it's a 5-0, I don't care. As long as we come off the park and we win and we keep that momentum going through all games, all trophies, all competitions this season, and we achieve that 56. That's what I want. I want the best for my team and the best for every supporter.
Definitely.
Now listen, guys, I just got to say we're going to be doing a wee thing called Caller of the Night. Right? That's what we're going to be doing. And I would like to vote Spanish Billy as a Caller of the Night. And hopefully Foxy will play some and just to say thank you.
And we go a little something like this. Hit it.
I'm smarter than the average bear.
Hey, well done, Billy.
Absolutely, Billy. Well done.
There you go. I can learn my works to that tune, eh?
Smarter than the average bear. Absolutely brilliant. Listen, can I just ask if it's okay with you guys? I'd like Foxy to come in and say a few words about the discussions tonight, if he feels like it. Are you welcome to do that? Come in, Foxy.
I want to thank you very much, Bridgeman, for stepping in for Ox while he's on holiday. Thought you and the boys have done a great job tonight. Thanks very much for the backroom staff here, me and Terry. And finish up for the night, mate.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
That's a bonus. We're going away early. Okay, then.
Well, I don't want to away early. She'll be wanting to win. I don't want to away early. I want to stay home.
Last thoughts then. Big Al. Last thoughts.
Has he got one of talking rubber dolls?
I got a punk with a bear outfit. I gave her a love bite there.
Come on, Al.
No, just we need to go into the season with a good win under our belts. For me, it's tonight. I've got a lovely day. I spoke to you guys, and I'll watch the game tonight. So, we get that win, and that's us 56, pushing for 60 league titles.
Yep.
Aye, mate. I enjoyed the night, mate. It's good to hear everybody phoning in with their topics and opinions. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. It's time to go. This is the season starting. This is the most important trophy that we go for this season, the League Championship. So we're just looking for a good performance. I'm sure we'll get it. And let's batter them tomorrow. Let's give them a right good down.
Batter them. I love it. Rudy?
Well, 3-0 win, really good performance. Start the season as we mean to go on, and then sets us up for the European night against Malmo. And as Southside said earlier on, I couldn't agree with him more. This league title is so important. Takes us into the Champions League next season proper, straight into the group sections. So start the season as we mean to go on, Bridgeman, and hopefully that starts off tomorrow with a great win.
Andy for Leeds.
Yeah, great discussion. Got the fire in the belly for tomorrow, right enough, and go out with the right attitude. Get the points on the board and let them know that we're ready to go again, as Stephen Gerrard says today.
Absolutely. Spanish Billy's not with us. He just won the competition there. George VK.
Let's go in that part tomorrow, like champions we are, and play like champions, by the way, and just show the rest of the league what they're up against. Proper footballers, and win that game 3-0 easy. More than Teddy players.
Go on yourself, George. Albert.
Quite simply, quote the gaffer. Let's go.
Absolutely. Right, I'm going to say something. I'd like to say thank you very much for putting up with me tonight, and thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really good. I'll hopefully get used to these kind of things. First time I've ever done the Leeds in that sense. So can I just say thank you to every single one of you for helping me out and being such good and quiet guys who didn't say too much and no arguments or anything like that. So no, seriously, thank you very much. The bottom of my heart, marvellous. Can I just say to all the Rangers fans all over the world, and particularly Rangers fans on here on Rangers Radio, every single one is massive game for us tomorrow. Get there, 1-3, get 3 points, Rangers. Everybody keep it going for the Rangers. Please, keep it going.
We will be back tomorrow for a pre-match show at 12:30. where JFK and Old Bear will take up the reins.
Now there's a pub in Green Street where all good proddies you will meet. So come down here and together we'll have a jab. A welcome there you will receive, so good that you won't want to leave. A fine wee pub is Saltcoats Mermaid Bar. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. We all support the Queen and Crown. The prices here are the best in town. The bar staff, they are one terrific crew. Everyone laughing, full of cheer. It's one tremendous atmosphere, singing to support the red, white and blue. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. It's nice to come to the Mermaid Bar when Rangers are playing at Ibrox Park. You'll forget your worries and all your cares, singing songs against the Thames before you watch the Rangers win. For everyone here supports the Teddy Bears. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. If you are up from Belfast town, Tyrone, Fermanagh or County Down, Armagh, Antrim or London, Derry shores, the Mermaid is the place for you, so come and have a drink or two. Next time in Saltcoats you'll want to come back for more. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. You'll hear the sash and Derry's walls, just like in your own wee orange halls. The banter here you will enjoy as long as you're a proddy boy. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. A good time in the Mermaid is had by one and all. Thank you.